Hello and welcome to the Ben on Beer Show for August 31st, 2012. This is a netcast about beer, brewing, and the people. I'm your host, Ben Rayberg.
And I'm Donovan Adkisson with the Narrow Media.
All right. That intro is better than the last one that didn't get out.
Yeah, since we're changing it up a little bit.
We are obviously have a different format. You didn't hear me say that last time I said it. We're both in front of one camera, and a ghost is running all of the studio over there.
Yeah, which is the reason why we had to do it a second time, because the ghost doesn't know what the hell he's doing. So, anyway.
Okay. Well, we were just to the point when we discovered that no one can hear us of me asking Donovan what the last beer he had was.
Yes, and I was telling you that you were going to be so disappointed in me. Yes, it was a Michelob
I guessed
Ultra.
it right?
Yeah. Randy and Jackie, whenever they came in for their first Ranjack Sports, the great big sports show, they brought in a 12-pack of Ultra and pizza.
Oh.
So I drank it.
I share a studio with them. They are due some remedial beer education on what to bring.
Well, they did that based on, they asked me, what kind of beer do you drink? And I said, well, you know, Ben's been,
I've been hammering your palate with everything.
He's been hammering it with all kinds of different craft brews and what have you. And I said, but, you know, if you want to go cheap, go with the Michelob Ultra. It's water, but it gets the job done.
I guess the budget has a say in the whole thing, too.
Well, you know, they were bringing pizza.
Was it delivery or DiGiorno?
It was delivered by them. They went to Pizza Hut. So it was good. It was good pizza. So that was the last one I had. What was yours?
I had way too much last night. I've been having a craving for a Pilsner for some reason. It's hot. I don't want anything really heavy. Of course, tonight we're drinking a porter, so it's not really my quest is over. I found Sam Adams Noble Pills at the new Publix.
Oh,
that opened up 2 days ago.
Isn't that place awesome?
It is, and we're gonna talk extensively about it.
Oh yeah.
And the shortcomings of the rest of the city that it enlights.
Ain't that the truth? God. Well, help me understand something now. You know, because I have a difficult time with all these terms. Pilsner. Okay. What exactly is a Pilsner as compared to like an IPA and all this other stuff? Pilsner
is more of a back to basics beer. It's very light. Hell, I think Old Milwaukee calls itself a Pilsner. It's very light and bubbly. It's a really light yellow color.
Okay.
Very light taste. And in the case of Old Milwaukee, a hint of some...
urine?
Industrial cleaning material.
I was going to say, that is some terrible stuff.
It does really taste like the can factory.
Yeah.
But a Pilsner is light. It is pretty much made of barley, light hops, and water. I'm not sure who puts what else in it.
It's not going to look like this.
No.
This looks like some kind of caramel, or is it caramel?
Depends on where you are from.
Do you pronounce it caramel or caramel?
Caramel.
Yeah. Okay.
That's because I'm from down here.
No, you're not.
I got to Colorado and went to a candy shop or whatever in the mall because I had no idea where I was. And asked for a caramel apple, and she goes, "You're not from around here, are you?" I was like, "No." Is it odd that I pronounce all of the letters in the word? Caramel.
Yeah, caramel. Makes me want a candy bar.
Caramel. It's just a shortcut. That's laziness. We need to enunciate.
Yeah, isn't that
caramel?
A city? Caramel? It's a city?
Probably.
Something. Anyway.
Somewhere. I'm sure somebody ran out of names and named their city Carmel.
And they spelled it Caramel. Probably. I'm not sure. How did we get on that subject? I did it.
Yeah. The color of this beer, I would say, is black.
It's somewhat opaque. You shine enough light behind it?
I would say above 95% opaque.
Yeah. But it's got a very good taste.
It is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to really talk about this one.
And, of course, by the third one, it's really, really good.
The third one you don't really remember.
Oh.
All right.
So what are we going to talk about?
It is still August, technically.
Yeah.
And so the beer of the month, the brewery of the month, rather, is Oscar Blues Brewing Company.
That's right.
In Lyons, Colorado. And soon to be Brevard, North Carolina.
And that's the one that we drank the last two times, the Dale's
Yep, we
Pale
had Dale's
Ale
Pale Ale.
and Deviant Dale's.
And Deviant Dale's. And we had some logistical issues, but they are trying to get us some of their Gnite. Now, that's a capital G, an apostrophe. I should be going this way for the camera. Knight.
I saw that whenever you sent it to me in the email, and I was like, is that a misspelling?
No, it's Gnite. And there's a lot of meaning behind the name and the beer itself. So,
okay.
And we'll talk about it. What I plan to do, and of course, it's really up to how our schedules work out. But we want to do a special episode when that brew does arrive.
Sure.
So.
Sure. Anything for beer.
Anything for beer. Anything for Michelob? Is that what you really mean? It's like that Twix commercial where you don't want to say anything, so you just shove a Twix in your mouth.
I guess I should have turned it up then.
Then I'd see how quiet I can be getting out of here to get another one. All right, we've already talked about Oscar Blues in two other shows.
Yes.
I happened to start a Brewery of the Month feature in the month where there were 3 shows.
Why did you do that?
Well, it's not over yet because we still got to do the Gnite special episode.
Yeah.
So it'll be 4 shows on one brewery.
Wow. Well, no, not technically, because we're really not going to talk about them that much in this show, other than what we just said.
Yeah, I mean, we've got some other things that I had planned for this show.
Okay.
But we just don't have one of their beers to drink and talk about.
Right.
And the next show, that should be a short show, but I do want to talk about that beer and
it depends on whether you get in there and start going.
Well, Gnite is an Imperial Red, and I'm not sure that I've ever heard of an Imperial Red.
Does that mean it's red?
Yeah, it should be. I think it is red in color.
Nice.
Or at least has a reddish tint to it.
Okay. I like colored beers.
As long as they're not blue.
I was just thinking that. I've never had a blue one.
Excuse me. There's a Wild Blue product, and it's a blueberry flavored beer. And the first time I had it, it was decent. I had it a couple of years later, and it was disgusting.
You must have hit that 7-year mark.
I don't know. My tastes really changed after I discovered the IPA and just became a hophead.
I could see that because after drinking just the few that I've had doing the show with you, it's completely different than anything I had ever had before in the world of beer. And no matter which one we drink, it shocks the hell out of my palate.
Even this one?
This one's not as bad.
Yeah.
And I don't mean bad in a bad way. I mean,
not as intense.
Yeah, not as intense. That's it.
Well, you'll notice, and of course, if we bring up Lee's idea of the viewers or whatnot drinking with us,
yeah.
If you follow along with the beers we drink, you'll see that I choose the hoppier beers, the pale ales and IPAs, double IPAs.
Yeah, they've got some very high IBU.
IBU,
yeah very.
Very. Like
Even though you do make fun of Ice House, but that's okay.
That's a high IBU.
But you still make fun of it.
Relatively high.
It's also cheap.
I guess we could drink Ice House on the show.
Might give you a headache.
Probably.
Yeah.
We did talk about Oscar Blues, and I wanted to kind of recap on a little bit of what we talked about. Oscar Blues started in 97 as a restaurant, and then 99 he being Dale Catechis. Who's Jeff?
I only know one Jeff. Well, two. And it's neither one of those.
Okay, so Dale Catechis decided to put a brewery in the place in 99, and by 2002 he enjoyed it enough to even expand more. Started canning it by hand.
The hand canner.
Yeah, and became the first brewery first craft brewery, or I guess back then it was called a microbrewery, in the United States to brew and can their own beer.
Yeah, that's right. I do remember that term because even back
I want a microbrewery, or a microbrew somewhere, and somewhere between the me turning 21 and me starting this show, or us starting this show, it became craft beer, rather than microbrew. And honestly, to me, craft beer sounds better, and also can include homebrew.
Because I remember I was going to it was back in the early 90s. I guess it was around 93, maybe. And I was with my boss at the time, and we were headed to Biloxi. We were going to some kind of show, some kind of rental show, because at that time, rent-to-own stores were becoming really, really, really big. Mm-hmm. And he owned the local Radio Shack dealership, and he was looking at other possible revenue streams and stuff like that. And I remember I had a magazine. I can't remember if I got it from him or if I got it, but one of the key articles in there was talking about being your own microbrewery. Mm-hmm. And until you said that, I had completely forgotten about that term, because all the times that you and I have talked about it, it's always been craft beer and home brewing, never a microbrew.
Yeah.
But now I remember the story about Samuel Adams and how it started out as a microbrew.
Yeah. Jim Cook, he started the Boston Beer Company. That was in the early 80s. I mean, you talk about pioneers in the industry.
Yeah.
He's one of them.
Yeah.
And to date, I think he's the only craft brewer that's traded publicly. Mm-hmm. Either way, if you look at the growth of microbreweries or craft breweries, they really pick up in the mid-90s, late 90s, and then there must have been an explosion between 2000 and now. Mm-hmm. I don't have a chart to show you, but it just the really early ones, besides Boston Beer Company, Dogfish Head started in 95. Mm-hmm. I want to say New Belgium started in 94 to 96.
Okay.
But I know they were brewing in the basement in the early 90s. Mm-hmm. Oscar Blues was started distributing in 2002, but they started brewing in 99. Mm-hmm. Stone was back in the 90s. Sierra Nevada had to have been back in the 90s, early 90s.
So a lot of these have been in the last 15 years, but they've really been kicking it in the butt probably the last 8.
Yeah,
maybe.
And the ones that are very established already, they've been here 15 to 17 years. Mm-hmm. They're the ones driving a lot of the growth, and really just them being around and being successful puts that the idea in somebody's head, hey, I can start a craft brewery. And all of a sudden, there's one going up in downtown Macon, And Richland, Georgia, wherever that is, apparently there's a brewery starting. There's brew pubs popping up all over the place.
You got this idea in your head too, right?
Yep, I do. There's a lot I got to learn, I'm sure, you know.
Oh, man.
Not just the recipe, but, I mean, sure, I can make 10 gallons of my favorite beer, but making a 200-barrel fermenter full of it and getting that right, I don't know.
Yeah, I would say that's probably a bit much. We could try it, though. Hey. I know some people that know some people.
Mm-hmm. And this November, that would be 10 years ago that they started canning their beer. So Oscar Blues would.
Yeah. Wow.
And they've won many awards. I think Deviant Dale's even won an award. Dale's Pale Ale was named by the New York Times as the America's Best Pale Ale.
It was good.
It was good. Yeah. It is bitter. It is.
And I'm very, very happy that it is now available in a store near me.
It is at Publix. It was just the craziest thing. I'm gonna sing their praises in a few minutes.
I was impressed. I couldn't get off the damn aisle.
I was just amazed. I stood there taking pictures, and I said I was going to talk about it later, Donovan. Later. Let's finish talking about the Oscar Blues.
Hey, I'm drinking, okay?
And we talked last week about the bicycle company,
Reeb,
which is beer spelled backwards.
Which I still think is hilarious.
They have a great product. I'm sure I can't afford it, but they are designed and manufactured completely in Colorado, which is in the United States. So they've given people jobs and created them right here. They're not going for the cheapest bike, you know. They're not going to sell them to Walmart. They sell them to avid cyclists because Dale himself is
a cyclist.
And that led him somehow to the small town of Brevard, North Carolina. I would assume he has a place there. Not really sure.
Doesn't everybody?
But I read an article that said he keeps a bike there. So is it just chained to a light pole? I would think that he's at least rented or owns a place in Brevard. And
just the bike. That's it. He just has the bike.
The bike. He just parks it in the lobby at City Hall, I guess. Or
they probably have a special slot for him. You can go in, pay $5, take a picture with his bike. You know, he gets about 25% of that.
So he put Brevard on the map, huh?
Yeah.
I've never been to Brevard.
I'm making fun of it because I've never heard of it until we started talking about all this. So
on the bottoms of I think it was a Dale's Pale Ale. I forgot to tell the audience last time when we were tasting Dale's Pale Ale and Deviant Dale's. There's on the date stamp on the bottom of every can. There's something clever written on the bottom of the can, along with the date or the lot code or whatever it is. Lately, Dale's Pale Ale has on the bottom stamped, "Let's get Brevarded," which is kind of, I thought it was funny. So
that's paying homage to the fact that they're building.
They're building in Brevard.
Brevard, yeah.
Yeah.
So he would no longer just have a bike there.
Maybe there will be a song. Sung by the Black Eyed Peas.
Oh God!
Let's get Brevarded, right?
That one may actually be broadcast also from the Mars Curiosity rover. I'm just saying, stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
Hey, but I have one question. What would he say if a certain somebody told him he didn't build that?
Let's not get political. Let's keep it Brevarded.
See, I did that.
You just brought it right up, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. I got to keep you on your toes, man.
Well, one of my Twitter followers pointed me to a CNBC article this week It was a write-up on Oscar Blues, their new location, the bike company and all. And, now that I'm drinking and I don't have it right in front of me, I'm going to hack it up here when I tell everybody about it. But it was basically, why'd you do it? And it was an interview with Dale. And, why'd you do it? And why are you expanding? And this and that. And why Brevard? And he's apparently, cycling itself is central to his values and the company's values. Obviously, they spun off a bike company.
Yeah, I mean, why else?
It's obviously a strong point.
Apparently, a passion.
So, Brevard apparently has a lot of readily available trails and mountain biking places very close. So why not put the restaurant and brewery there?
Sounds like a plan.
Yep. They're going to save on a lot of shipping to the East Coast because pretty much everything that they produce there would be distributed on the East Coast.
Yeah, I could see where that would be beneficial.
Yeah, I mean, look at everybody's, well, I say everybody, but a lot of folks are doing it. It's kind of funny that, as far as I know, the Boston Beer Company, as big as it is, doesn't have a second brewing location.
So they're still only in Boston?
As far as I know.
Wherever they're, I guess they're located there.
I haven't studied that company, but I would assume that they are still in, just in Boston.
So that means, okay, so if they're in the northeastern section of the United States, yeah, for them to ship anywhere west, southwest,
it's a couple days.
Yeah.
But they have such a following now, and such a strong demand that they're not going to...
People buy a lot of it.
A couple of days on a truck is not going to matter.
Yeah. It's not like they're going to run out.
Especially on the West Coast, where people enjoy craft beer.
Are you saying that they enjoy craft beer more on the West Coast than they do on the East Coast?
I would say there's a higher percentage of craft beer drinkers in per capita in, say, Colorado and California than there are in Alabama.
Or Georgia. Yeah, we're probably one of the only two in Georgia. And I wasn't until you kind of forced it on me.
Are you mad?
No.
There you go. See,
Not at all.
Mikey likes it.
Mikey likes it, yeah.
I think it is also interesting that they were... Oscar Blues was founded not in a major city, not where everybody could see them, but off in their own little corner, Lyons, Colorado, which is kind of just outside of Longmont, which is not a huge city in itself. It's just a kind of almost a suburb of Denver, but further away from Denver.
Kind of reminds me of Longmire, but that's a different thing.
And so Brevard is probably an hour southwest of Asheville. And we all know Asheville. Well, I know Asheville is I would say the beer capital of the East.
Yeah. Well, remember I told you I got a good friend that lives there who is before. Well, I mean, I've known you for a number of years now, but he was the first person to ever introduce me to Sweetwater.
Okay.
Down here, of all places. Okay. And but I consider him a beer aficionado also. He loves beer. And he lives in Asheville.
So, this is a good place to live if you love beer.
Yeah. Except apparently where he lives is kind of up on a high hill or a mountainous region, so whenever it gets really icy, it gets a little dicey.
Well,
so he kind of like slides down his driveway. Hopefully he can stop before he hits the main road.
Well, living in the beer capital of the East has...
Trade-offs.
Yeah. I would deal with an icy driveway every once in a while.
I think I would,
That's
too.
That's fine.
Yeah. Of course, if you had enough beer in you when you were trying to go down, it wouldn't matter. So, there you go.
So they're not... Oscar Blues doesn't really seem to place itself way in front of a large number of people. They're not really concerned with that. What they want to do is provide a good place for their employees.
Mm-hmm.
I'm betting that you can get a discount on a Reeb bicycle as an employee of Oscar Blues. I'm only guessing.
I would hope.
I'm only guessing.
I mean, if you work for Walmart, if this is still the case, I mean, you used to get 10% discount off of everything that you bought there. I don't know if that's still...
I would hope that it's more than a 10% discount on a $4,000 bicycle.
Well, I'm talking about Walmart. But anyway, Reeb, yeah. I would hope that they would.
And nothing against them. I mean, a $4,000 professional-grade bicycle is well within the norms.
Well, if I did that day in and day out, I would probably really invest in something
you would
like
invest
that.
in a good quality cycle, and you would want something built in this country.
True.
Well, there you go.
Right now, I got 3 bicycles with flat tires. I mean,
well, you don't need to.
I just need tires.
That much
cash. So, if you want to send me some tires, but
well, I do know of a bicycle reseller. They are on, I think they're on Bijou Avenue in Colorado Springs, called Colorado Cyclist. And they send their catalog. I did not know this when I walked into the store. They send their catalog out nationally.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those places that's just known. And here I am, I just stumble upon it.
Right.
I go in looking for a bike, and I'm like, what in the world? I mean, I've never heard of any of these bicycles, and there's no price tags. There's salesmen in suits and stuff. It's like,
wow. Okay, that's one of those places. If you ask for the price of the bike, apparently
you don't need to be there.
You don't need to be there. You can't afford it. Okay.
But that's the kind of high end cycle place you might find a Reeb cycle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if they distribute to retailers or if they sell them directly off the site. I would think that I want to say somewhere I heard that they are back ordered. Because they hand make them, they hand build them. They don't have a big factory with robots and welders and stuff.
And of course, if they really wanted to show their support of the show and send us one, we wouldn't have a problem with that, right?
Yeah, but fitting a bicycle in here, it's either fit a bicycle in here or take the money for one and expand the studio.
That would work too.
We would even put an Oscar Blues sign.
We could do that.
Here.
Yes, we could.
And I would talk about you all the time. But I saw pictures of
Make
Dale.
Sweet, passionate.
I saw pictures of Dale in this CNBC article, and he doesn't look like a big businessman. He looks like...
He's not a hipster, right?
No, he looks like the jock from high school that I never was.
Oh, yeah, me either.
A big cyclist, big outdoorsy kind of guy. And
wow.
It's just a
because
cool
if they threw the football my direction, I ran. So yeah, I'm with you.
And when looking at his face, you can tell somehow he's from Alabama.
Did you really? Did you really?
That's just the only thing that came to my head when I saw him. I was like, I remember that guy's from Alabama.
That reminds me of the problem of the joke about the problem of trying to determine a crime scene. All of the DNA would be contaminated because everybody's related. Jeez, really?
I'm kidding. I mean, Dale is really from Alabama.
We love you, Alabama.
No, I won't tell that Alabama joke.
Suddenly, Ben on Beer Show is the most hated show on the planet for anybody in Alabama.
Well, you know how not Walter, what the hell's his name? Howard, same old guy name. Howard Stern. You know, he got so popular.
He pissed a lot of people off.
Exactly.
Yeah. We hate you, Alabama.
They wanted him off the air because they were afraid of what he'd say next. But they kept listening because they wanted to know what he'd say next. So.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the.
But I'm not saying anything I'm not like picking on people that are public figures. I mean, he's
you
won't
let me.
Dale's one of my heroes. He started the whole company by hand.
Yeah.
And you can't fault him for that.
I have an appreciation for someone who starts a company like that. Number one, from a passion.
Yeah.
And builds it from the ground up, which is, what we're trying to do here, because we're passionate about what we're doing, passionate about beer, passionate about getting the word out, passionate about Betty Boop, but, we're passionate. So, yeah, I do have an appreciation for someone like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
he did build that, damn it. He did.
He did.
He did.
Now, whether he got federal loans to help,
who cares?
Different story.
That's what they're there for, right? Anyway.
Stop it.
I'm thirsty.
I'm going to get up and get a beer. But I will say that if you were still doing this media company in 5 years.
If I'm not run off the net by then.
It would be because you were passionate and you were hardworking and you had a fantastic beer-oriented show on your network.
But that's right, the flagship show.
Which show that is, I don't know. But
I don't know. I think it's probably two guys.
You'll have to find a fantastic one, not this one.
Well, it could be two guys sitting around talking about football and drinking, but
I should bring a chair and sit it over there and watch the Ranjack show and just sit over there and get plastered right next to the fridge. And learn something about sports. Well,
you do realize that this show is sponsoring that show.
So on Tuesday, I could go to work and talk to the football fans and really seem like I know what I'm talking about.
That's right. I've learned so much just in the 3 shows that they've done. I'm sitting there going, even though at the end of it I have to say, can you send me a summary of what you just talked about? Because I'm going to get it completely wrong. Trust me, I will. Completely wrong.
Yeah.
See, I could go.
Yeah, but you're not that much of a man. I'm just saying.
My one feeling I had, that hurt.
Yeah, but your geekiness took over years ago, and now your fingers are soft. I couldn't do it either.
Hey, dude, walking around the store that we're going to talk about the other day, my wife and I walked around it. We got there at like 10 o'clock. I think we got home about 11:30. I was worn the hell out.
Had you never been to a Publix?
Oh, never. Not that I could recall. Am I pouring this wrong? Now, see, I've watched you pour it with a lot of head, and you cheated.
I did cheat because we're not exploring the beer on the episode. I just need to get it in the glass and down the gullet. That will bring out more flavor in your beer. Is that on camera? No.
That versus... See, this is the way you taught me to pour a beer.
Yeah, and you should. Cheers. I poured it in... I'm thirsty mode.
Okay. But no, I had never been to a Publix that I could recall.
All right, just one more thing about the Brevard location.
Mm-hmm.
They are set to open... Well, I assume... as of right now, they are set to open in December. If I ever make it to the Asheville area, I do plan to go get some pictures, or if they're open, have some dinner and fresh pale ale.
I'd like to go up there and visit Ed.
I'd like to go to Asheville and just...
Well, I mean,
I've never been to Asheville.
I've been to... Where's Charlotte? Is that in North Carolina? South Carolina?
You asking me? I want to say Charlotte's in North Carolina.
Okay, that's right.
I should know more about North Carolina by now.
I do apologize to my high school teacher because I can't remember. But no, the point is the only time I've been to any of the Carolinas was I took a plane. I was going to Virginia for some training. Mm-hmm. On a PBX, digital phone system, and all that kind of stuff. And one of the things I had to do is, because of where the place was, and I do not recall the small town of Virginia, but it wasn't a small town as far as I was concerned because it was larger than Tifton, but yet it still didn't have an airport. So I had to fly into Charlotte and then take a twin-engine dealio that only had 15 passenger capacity to get there.
We call those puddle jumpers.
Well, yeah. I felt like a puddle after it was done.
You were sitting in a puddle?
I was sitting in a puddle. So anyway, yeah. So no, that's the only time I've ever been to either one of the Carolinas, was actually just getting off of one plane, walking right over to the other one, and hauling tail. So, But yeah, I'd love to go up there. Not only to visit this place, but swing by, maybe pick your head up, and we all go.
That'd be great. Now they're set to open in December. They are that's their goal, I assume, and they have at least one full-time employee who's there to stay. And I haven't seen any pictures of the place, and I don't have an address, but I will try to keep them, keep updated on them, and keep you guys updated as they go along. It'd be nice if they would maybe give me a free trip up there.
Yeah, because
I can't get away.
Well, you need a cameraman.
Yeah, need a cameraman.
Yep.
And a shirt.
Yep, shirts.
Underoos. Oh, sorry. You and your underoos thing. You just had me. I just had the funniest thought, is to make some Beer Hero underoos.
Hey.
Yeah, but it would just be weird. Wow. To have like Jim Cook over here and Dale Katechis here and Sam Calagione over here. That's too close to me. And then now I don't even know other names, but
you probably should stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just don't go any further.
Those are my heroes. You put your heroes on your underwear, right?
Well, yeah.
My kid's got Spider-Man and Cars characters. Because, they don't sell like regular underwear for
kids.
For 3-year-olds. They gotta have something weird on it. And he's always worn big underwear because he was potty trained before they typically get, so they didn't make underoos as small as he was. Wow. When he finally got, when I say finally, when he decided he was tired of diapers. So
was he exceptional? Like early or late?
Early.
Okay.
Early. He saved us like $10,000 on diapers.
Holy crap.
It's crazy. Yeah.
You just walk in one day and he's standing there in front of it going, you know what? I got this.
You don't worry about me. That's his new saying. Is it? Hey, watch out, son. You don't worry about me. So funny.
Oh, God. Kids are precious. They are so precious. And I was so scared to be a dad early on.
Yeah, it startled me for a few seconds. Then I just went with it.
With the first two, I was scared. When we finally got to where we were about to have our daughter, I was ecstatic. I was like, "Oh yeah, this is going to be a girl."
Yeah.
Oh. Good beer.
So, I will start this conversation by saying that Tifton, as a beer, wine, and spirits place to partake, sucks.
And you can thank, because I have a special insight on this, you can thank the local government for that.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason why I say I have a special insight is because, as you know, you and I both, at one time in our life, worked for the city of Tifton. Yeah,
I wasn't quite as high up as you were, so I wasn't involved in the people. But they have to suck.
It's terrible.
To be as progressive as everybody wants them to be. I mean,
they're so
the local college is growing like
I know.
Like none other.
Yeah.
They're offering more programs. They're offering 4-year degrees. The restaurants are booming. The two of the...
Well, they're bringing an Olive Garden in. I mean,
that's one story I heard.
Every time you turn around, there's a new restaurant coming in. And I'm sitting here going, where's the economy to keep this going? I mean,
you North Carolina people, Bojangles is moving in.
Yeah.
We don't know where the money's coming from. I mean, obviously it's not the city, but people are heavily investing in Tifton. People are moving to Tifton. They are advertising. They are everything.
And the only thing they've got going for them when it comes to restaurants is the fact that several years ago they finally got off their asses and passed liquor by the drink. Now, if you want to talk about a short-term stopgap measure of actually doing the right thing and going full force, open it up and let this be a wet county, that is the epitome of, oh, God, I can't even say what I was about to say because, God. But you know where I was headed with that? That was
the story I heard. I was in, it wasn't Longhorns. Was there a Logan's?
There's a Logan's.
Yeah, I was in Logan's on a Sunday evening, and I said, I only see Sam Adams on your menu. Can you bring me a Sam Adams? She goes, we don't serve beer on Sundays. I was like, well, you have a tap. What's going on? And I was like, this city sucks. What in the world? How do they let all this move in and nobody serves even at the bar? I mean, I can understand the package stores being closed and you can't buy packaged beer and wine at the grocery store, but I have always been able to get beer on tap or beer by the drink.
On a Sunday.
On a Sunday, anywhere except this place. And at that visit, the story I heard was the Olive Garden talked with city government, and Olive Garden, whoever owns it or whoever's going to own it, said, I'll put an Olive Garden in if you will allow Sunday
alcohol sales. Yeah.
And they said, okay, and it was a big handshake on it. And then, they cleared the land and started to build, and the city reneged on it. That's the story I heard. There's no way I can confirm it, but
that doesn't surprise me.
Sounds like what happens,
God.
They go ahead and lay the money, lay that investment, and they go, we're just kidding. Come on in anyway.
That just...
Anyway, that's not really the topic for the...
I know, but that's typical. That's typical.
I mean, I could see it happening, Dukes of Hazzard kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, and, but the funny thing is, like I've told you before, Ashburn, Georgia, which is, 20 miles away?
Yeah, they just allowed Sunday alcohol sales.
You can walk into a convenience store there, I think, after 1 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon and buy beer.
You can do the same thing in Sandy Springs and Dunwoody, which is Metro Atlanta. But 2 days ago, on Wednesday, a new grocery store opened in Tifton. And it is from the chain of Publix grocery stores, Publix. They tend to... I think I wrote this down, is they tend to cater to the affluent. But I wouldn't say they cater to anyone. They just offer higher end, a cleaner store, better products.
Yeah.
Obviously it's going to be a little bit higher price, but I'll pay a higher price not to smell the meat department when I walk in. And...
Well, the one thing that we did notice is on name brand items, they're generally 50 cents to $1.50 higher. But they have their own Publix brand. They even have their Publix green brand, gluten-free stuff.
Yeah.
All of that. And that's kind of when the other store, Walmart in this area, when they do have something along those lines, Publix seems to be, just on our first assessment, maybe 50 cents higher in the same stuff. Not name brand, but like their own brand. But we were really, really impressed. And for the things that we buy, there's a very good chance. I know a lot of people won't buy into this, but the energy level and the atmosphere of walking into that Publix was a hell of a lot more positive than walking into a Walmart store.
Well, yeah, you're going to get that in a new Publix store.
Well, that's what we're wondering. We're going to wait a few weeks.
A few weeks, you'll see it calm down, but you will not ever find anybody that's rude to you or unwilling to help.
Yeah.
Or, right now they're just overly friendly.
Well, and they got a lot of trainers there, too.
I'm like waiting for people to pass me so I can turn down this one aisle, and somebody who works there stops. He's like, hey, can I help you find something? I'm like, I'm just waiting to go down the aisle.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get that way.
Because it's packed with people.
Yeah.
They're just loving it up here, which is great. But the thing that I wanted to talk about is, as far as Tifton, doesn't offer, I think the only like dedicated beer store that I always went to was the corner of 20th and 12th, I guess, came up at the end of 20th Street.
Is 20th?
There's a BP station, and there's the Lamplighter pubs that's kind of down the road from there.
It's 40, no, not 41. I know where you're talking about.
Anyway, it was this old closed down gas station that was kind of gutted, and you could either drive through and get something from the...
It was like a washerette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've closed down since I lived here, yeah. And that was about the only place to go get it, for a dedicated thing. Mm-hmm. And when I went to get something, I just wanted a beer, a craft beer, in Tifton. I think I went to Harvey's, or the grocery store, and found, I think they had Sweetwater and something else.
Wow.
But
Harvey's.
Yeah, Harvey's. I had to go to Harvey's for craft beer in this city. There is nowhere to go.
Until now.
Of course, the convenience stores aren't going to carry anything but Bud Light, Coors Light, and Schlitz.
Ice House.
And Ice House, wherever he shops.
Down the road.
But I walked into Publix, this brand new, shiny, fancy grocery chain, and I'm no stranger to the chain. They're a Florida-based chain. They're in Florida, Georgia, maybe in South Carolina, maybe Alabama, perhaps Tennessee.
Did you run into the dinosaur?
What dinosaur?
The dinosaur.
What dinosaur?
The Publisaurus.
That's funny.
He was there.
No, I did not run into the dinosaur.
Oh, I got a picture of him.
I went on the second day.
Oh, I went there Wednesday. Anyway, sorry. Walking down the aisle, and the next thing I know, here comes the damn dinosaur.
So you guys, most of you listening aren't in the Southeast, and perhaps out West you could compare this to King Soopers. It's a pretty nice and bright grocery store. But where I was going with this, I'm no stranger to Publix. There's one in Valdosta, and I live halfway between Tifton and Valdosta. So every once in a while, we find ourselves down there in that Publix, and they have a beer cooler section, and they do carry some, Newcastle, Sweetwater, Sam Adams. You'll find several other beers that you won't find in any other grocery store. But this particular Publix here in Tifton evidently has realized the shortage of variety in the entire city. And so one section that is not cooled is 16 feet long.
You actually measured it?
No, I know it's in 4-foot sections.
Oh, okay.
I know it's the shelves are 4 feet long.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't bother looking, but
16 feet long, so it's 6-packs, 12-packs.
Yeah. And
the last 4 feet is 6 shelves high, and it's all one-offs. It's single bottles from whatever else is available, and a 6-pack holder. You build your own 6-pack.
Well, now, the two sides, when you walk down it, if you walk in from the front, the entire left-hand side, until you get down to those one-offs, is wine.
Yeah, they have quite a selection of wine.
All right, the entire right-hand side is cooled all the way down.
Yep.
Until
it gets to closed cabinets, I think.
Which is
freezers.
the smartest damn marketing thing I've ever seen. Did you realize what's in those coolers right after the beer?
No.
Pizza.
Pizza?
Frozen pizza.
Hey, I did not look at that. I was just amazed at the beer. So there's 16 feet on one side that's not cooled, and it's all craft beer. I can't stress that enough. In this podunk, backwards town, we have a grocery store that realizes that deficit and has stepped up.
Yeah.
There's another 12 feet in the cooler, in the cooled area, that is craft beer. Now, mind you, a few of these craft beers are produced by the industrial companies, like Leinenkugel's and Boddington's, but they're still the craft beers. They're the same style as they were before the shitheads bought them. So
I saw things I had never heard of. I mean, we were walking down and I was looking at some of this stuff, and I turned to Lee and I'm like, okay, I'm quite confident Ben's probably heard of all this, but there's blueberry beer and pear beer and shit I have never heard of.
I've heard of everything that I saw, but I've never. I mean, there were some that I had never seen on the shelf before, like Kona Brewing Company. They're in Hawaii. You never see that.
Yeah.
I bought a 6-pack of Pale Ale.
You tried it yet?
Nope. I did not want to have that after the Pilsner last night. I want to have it by itself.
I'm pretty sure I'll sit on Untapped in the next few days.
I forgot to log all of those last night. I need to, virtually power drink tonight.
Yeah. I have to silence my iPhone, because otherwise I start going da-ding, 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 da-ding. Oh, yeah, Ben's drunk. No.
Oh man!
But yeah, that is awesome. I mean, it is
fantastic.
And they have sake. Did you notice that?
I did not realize that they would be allowed to sell it.
They have sake because Lee actually found a couple of different makers of it, I believe. And matter of fact, one of the she joked, one of the first things that she's going to, or one of the things I should say, that she will be purchasing on the next outage to Publix will be sake, because we've never had it. And I think it's actually pronounced sake, but anyway, because
sake,
we pronounce it wrong and we drink it incorrectly and all this other kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've got it. They've got that chocolate wine. We ran into a couple there that we were talking about. They actually we were looking at the chocolate wine, and the woman was like, "Yeah," she said, "that is a fantastic dessert wine." And then she said, she didn't name the name of it, but she said a few weeks prior she'd actually had a chocolate German beer that was really good.
I have heard of chocolate in beer. Young's, I guess that's the company. I'm actually not sure. Those days are such a blur, but Young's Double Chocolate Stout is something that is so smooth. It's this color, not as shiny. It's almost like a matte finish on the surface. It's wonderful. It's just smooth. It's not really hoppy. But it's not like chocolate milk or anything. But it's wonderful. If I ever see it, I will bring it on the show. I
will have to try it before I can definitely pass judgment. But chocolate in alcohol. Well, I mean, Kahlua is one thing. But
that's a coffee.
But it's still kind of a coffee.
It's a mocha coffee kind of thing. Yeah.
I mean, but in beer or wine, I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows? Don't knock it till you try it.
That's true.
I hope you like that sake. I apparently was drinking it wrong, but I'm pretty sure if I had drink it right, I still wouldn't have liked it. That's you and your Scotch experience 20 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, if I were to have the right Scotch now, I probably would be an avid Scotch drinker, but I'm not.
Are you scared to try it again?
No. I just need to make sure that someone, gives me something that's worth a damn and says, this is good stuff.
Next time I get a bottle of Scotch, I will either have you over on the brew day and we'll try it, or I'll bring it, before the show. We'll have a good show.
Oh, you mean one where I really can't shut up?
Actually, I don't need that. No.
Yeah, I was going to say.
You get started sometimes. Oh, let's see. I went on day 2 at lunchtime. Day 2 being the second day they were open.
Right.
Apparently on day 1, they were giving away the insulated grocery bags where you could carry this bag around the store and put your frozen goods in it.
Saw those.
They said they gave away like 1,200 of those in the first 30 minutes, 45 minutes.
That would be the reason why we didn't get it.
Yeah, people were like waiting at the door when they got there.
We got the little deck of cards.
Deck of cards, huh?
It was like conversational pieces. It's like you walk in, they say, hey, would you like these? And a matter of fact, Lee was at, you bring them out, and it's got like, if you were so-and-so, if you traveled in time and did this, this, and this, what would, oh, yeah. Yeah. She read those for about 30 minutes until the kids were like, Mom, that's enough. Not going to do this anymore. But yeah, that's what we got whenever we got there.
I showed up on day 2 at around lunchtime.
You didn't get anything.
It was still a madhouse. Some old gray-haired lady hit me with her buggy.
Hit you?
She hit me in the elbow with her buggy.
Did she say, excuse
me? And I looked at her and I said, excuse me, and she just looked at me and walked off. And then my friend, apparently, he was like right behind her in the line at the deli or the whatever. They have deli and they have fried chicken and dinners and all that stuff. He said she was rude to the people behind the counter about her potato wedges. She's gonna get beat down one day.
Was she a white-haired old lady?
Yeah. You can't narrow it down in Tifton, though. There's a lot of old people.
She's probably a blue blood, anyway.
But I went at lunch and I took pictures of the craft beer section.
Yes, I saw where you posted that on Twitter.
And then I went back because I wasn't gonna get my pick of beer and then take it back to work. So after work, I came back, and they were sold out of one of the Sam Adams collections. I think it was the Brewmaster collection. One of the Sweetwater 6-packs. I mean, they were depleted. Wow. There were holes in the craft beer section. There were holes. There were people still getting 6-packs of stuff, and all I could do was stand there and smile and go,
they get it.
This is encouraging.
Yeah.
But you know what they didn't sell out of?
Budweiser.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They did not sell out of, or they didn't deplete any of the Budweiser, Coors Light.
You're right. That is very encouraging. I mean,
that is wonderful that it looked like people knew what the hell they wanted when they walked in there and just grabbed the last one and said, I got you, bitches. and today I walked in. I don't know why I keep going back. I went in to get...
You went in again?
Well, I had to get this.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And Wheat Thins. But I went in and looked again, and I was thinking, well, maybe they got replenishments in the back. There were still holes in the shelving. It was such a wonderful thing that... Huh?
Why didn't you tell it to somebody? Tell them, fill that crap up.
Well, they know they got to order more.
Well, they should have it in the back.
Well, if they had it in the back, they would have put it in last night.
Well, because as we walked out...
10 o'clock in the morning, you wouldn't expect holes to be punched in a full case of...
But as we walked out, there was a lady standing there, and I don't know if she's one of the trainers or if she's one of the people that is actually going to be at this store full time, but she told us that anytime there's anything that we can't find, go to the customer service desk and request it, fill out a form, and they will try to get it.
Oh, no.
Yes, that's exactly what she said.
They're going to know me by name now. I forgot, because if you look at, I want Coca-Cola in 8-ounce bottles, glass bottles. They'll probably go get it, find it for you if they can get it from Coca-Cola.
Mm-hmm.
So that tells me, every time I ask for something from the package store, I was like, hey, next time your distributor comes around, ask them for whatever, such and such. They'll never damn do it. Never. The last time I got what I wanted something from Dogfish Head, and because I knew they were coming out with some specialty brews, and they had already ordered it, and they called me when it came in. That's the only time I ever get a call from them when something I want comes in. So I'm going to put Publix to the test.
Yeah, that's what she said.
I'm going to come up with the most off-the-wall stuff I've ever found in
She said go to the customer service
Atlanta.
desk and fill out some form, and they will do their best
You know
to
what?
get it.
Damn it, Publix might end up sponsoring this show.
Hey, hint.
Hint, hint. It's only $50,000 in.
Yeah. That's all we need. No.
We'll take that check, but that's not the minimum.
Nope.
If you are interested in sponsoring the show, you send an email to info@anairo.com. That is info@anairo.com.
There you go.
Or leave a voicemail at 313-718-2557. And a representative will return your call.
That would be me. I'm the representative. And hopefully I will not return your phone call after I've had a couple of these.
Or you can call me. You can send the money direct, or you can just ship beer to me, or...
Yeah, we take beer.
If you're a brewer, you want to get your word out, I'll wear your shirt instead of a Red Cross shirt. And
or a plain black.
I've got one just like that.
I got two.
Is that a Crofton Barrow?
Lands End.
Probably the same factory in Indonesia.
Yeah, probably. It's a polo. I had to go and look because I've got two. One is actually not considered black anymore, and I may have gotten...
That's probably that one.
That's probably this one, yeah. But anyway.
It sounds like the show's over.
Well, now we're talking... This is the fashion section of the show. Anyway, well, I guess we could basically say kudos to Publix for recognizing whether they did it on purpose or inadvertently.
That is no accident.
The fact that it's so huge, the beer aisle, and the fact that they cover...
Look, I didn't measure the industrial beer section, but it is, I'm going to guess it's 20, maybe it's 24 feet.
It seems like there's more craft beer.
But you've got 16 feet of non-cooled beer, and you've got... Was that 16? Yeah, you got 16 feet of non-cooled beer and another 16, or maybe just 12 of beer in the cooler. So
I do recall...
You've got 24, I think it was a total of 24 feet of shelf space for craft beer in the grocery store. And it can't be 24 for the industrial beer.
I mean, I remember walking down the aisle and going by the Budweiser, Coors, da-da-da-da-da, and then immediately I started hitting, like Blue Moon and Dogfish Head. All of these things, and I'm like getting giddy like a damn, kid in a candy store or something going, I know these names. Ben's talked about these names. And I'm like, honey, come here. Look at this. They've got real shit in here.
Yeah, it is. It was just wonderful to see that when you can't find those beers in any package store in the city. Is there a package store at all in the city?
Mm-mm.
Is it just the convenience stores and grocery stores?
Yeah, it's a dry county.
It's the only place you
cannot buy liquor in Tift County.
Well, I mean, somebody who sells just beer and wine.
Mm-mm.
There's nowhere like that.
That's just convenience stores. Closest you have to go to the county line toward Berrien County, Nashville, and hit Steve won't mind. I like Steve, Whiskey Barrel. And that's the only place you can get. And I mean, he's not a big beer. I mean, he sells liquor and wine.
That's what they come out of Tifton looking for.
Yeah. And I mean, he will get you things. I mean, I've gone down there several times and said, "Hey, can you find me this, this, and this?" And a lot of times he'll go down to Valdosta and get it, or he'll tell this guy when he comes around, "Hey, I need this the next time." I've never asked him about any kind of craft type of beer.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been kind of like, whenever I learned about potato vodka, and I really liked it. But no, there's nothing in this town. Publix is it now.
Good enough. There was I remember in Publix in Sandy Springs that I used to go to, right down the road from the apartment. I used to go there, and they wouldn't have a whole lot as far as craft brew.
Mm-hmm.
They had imports like Sapporo, that's from Japan, Leinenkugels, and they had this and that. Sweetwater, of course, we're in Atlanta. But, they didn't even have everything from Atlanta. They had your run-of-the-mill this and that. So never at any Publix have I seen as much of a variety of craft beer as there is in the one in Tifton. So it's quite an obvious meeting filling a deficit.
Yeah, I hope they just keep it. I hope they don't come
I
around.
hope they don't replace it, and I'll say, well, this isn't selling.
Yeah, 6 months from now, it's like, well, suddenly we've got, a quarter of what we had.
Yeah, what I want to do is go and request something that they don't have that we maybe need for the show, and they'll order it, get it in, and somebody else will buy it. Yeah. That's what I hope.
Yeah.
And that they'll see that people are, willing to try something new.
Sure.
And then when I start to order something, they'll just order double. Yeah. And hold one back there for me. That'd be nice.
Yeah, and the prices aren't that bad. I mean, that whole, build your own 6-pack for $9.99. I mean,
that's on par, because you could put anything in there.
Yeah. I mean, I saw everything from Guinness to Sweetwater.
Stuff from Kona was in there. Yeah. I'd like to request stuff from Georgia. I mean, they've got a lot of terrapin stuff too. They have Hopsecutioner, which is one of my favorite IPAs.
Terrapin's the one that's got the turtle, right?
That's what a terrapin is. Yeah.
Terrapin. Really?
Yeah.
Color me stupid.
I didn't know that either. Now, I saw Terrapin Brewing, and I saw the whole turtle theme, but then I saw somebody from the Northeast where the mascot for their local sports team was the Terrapins. And they had a turtle. I was like, that's kind of strange. They're called the Terrapins, and they have a turtle theme too.
And then you connected the dots.
Yes. And Spanish for turtle is?
Do I look like I'm from Spain? Terrapin, maybe?
Tortuga. I learned that on Breaking Bad.
I should know it. I should really know it because that's the name of a turtle in World of Warcraft.
Tortuga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should know that.
It's also the name of a DEA informant on Breaking Bad. Who doesn't last long.
I've never watched that. I'm sorry to my Spanish brethren.
Great.
I'm sorry.
Great show.
Anyway, no, I've never watched it. I've heard people rave about the damn show, and I'm like,
that's why we started.
Life again?
That's why we started to watch it. We're catching up. I guess we're in season 3.
Well, we're finishing up Lost. I think we got like 6 episodes, and we're done.
I didn't really care much for Lost, and all I've seen of Lost is the day after the first episode. Somebody at work was talking about it.
Well,
that's all I've ever seen of the show was this and that.
Plane crashes on island. Mayhem ensues. News at 11.
So it's a scripted reality show, is that what it is? It's a scripted Survivor?
Snooki's not on there.
Who is Snooki? Well, I know who Snooki is, but how in the... did she get popular?
Well, she just popped a kid out. That's one thing, but...
Is that how she got popular?
No, but how she
she got popular, and then the kid came out.
Yeah. You know how she got popular?
No. Is it the Real World or one of those stupid reality shows she was on?
Jersey Shore.
The Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
Sorry, you don't say it right. It's Jersey Shore.
Do you want coffee?
You gotta go north.
Yeah?
No, that's not where they say A. You gotta go to Minnesota.
I went further, okay?
Minnesota, eh? I think we need to end the show and then
we bloody well need to end it. Bloody well.
Dude, didn't we start at like 3:45?
What time is it?
It's almost 5.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, you do that. You do the exit. The outro.
Well, even though I'm not inebriated, I am not going to drive right away.
No, I wouldn't either.
No. And the thing I want everybody to take away from this show, even though it's not a big theme of the show, but I want to remind everybody not to drink and drive, not to drive drunk, not to drive buzzed. I'm not going to get all mad about it. That's a little pun on mad. But you don't want to get up in the morning and then take your shower and eat your breakfast and get your shirt and tie on and get on your bicycle and go to the office. 'Cause that's what some folks do when they get a DUI. You got to get to work somehow. You got to pay those fines. You got to get to the the DUI counseling classes.
Can't just live off the government?
You could just live off the government.
No, government.
Government.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. You don't need to do something stupid like that.
Do the right thing, you know. Don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Don't
Will would be appreciative of that.
Don't have too much pride that you can't say that's enough or I'm not going to drive. We'll just figure something out.
Call a friend.
Call a friend.
One preferably that's not drinking.
Call an enemy. Call an old girlfriend.
No, don't call an old girlfriend.
Ask the bartender for a ride. Do whatever you got to do not to screw your life up.
Yeah. Very true.
And no, I'm not speaking from experience. I've never had a DUI. I never had a problem, but I do see a lot of people on bicycles who look like they don't belong there. But enjoy your craft beer responsibly. It's even worse when you get a DUI and your truck is filled with Busch Light cans.
They give you a DUI just because you're
yeah,
drinking the wrong stuff.
I'd cite you for
being an idiot,
drinking the wrong beer. Also, don't share your beer with minors. It's just not right. It's plain and simple.
Wait a minute. I was drinking when I was 6.
Your dad was wrong to allow that.
My dad was never wrong. Just ask him.
But with that, you can keep up with the show on benonbeer.com. Even though I haven't posted in a while, I've been very, very busy at work.
Aren't you on Twitter?
Yeah, I am on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at benonbeer. You subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. Just go to benonbeer.com/iTunes. We'll take you where? You made that link.
It'll take you to the list of shows, you know.
Take you to the list of tunes. Oh, the list of shows.
List of tunes. List of shows.
Told you I'm not driving.
Apparently you're not.
But everything you need to keep in touch with the show is on benonbeer.com.
Yep.
And I will see you guys next time. Or you will see me. Cheers.
This has been a presentation of the Anero Media Network. Your reality distorted.